Hey, what is up, guys? So I'm finally back, and for the past 1 year, I've been playing this game called Guild Wars 2. I mean, I am playing other games too, but I guess this is my main game I play right now, and I guess this is going to just be a guide for people who have never played an MMORPG or I guess PC games or anything, or suppose for people who don't know how to play games at all. I'm mainly doing this video because some of my friends who really like the game want to try this game out. So I don't even know if this will go public. So basically, this game is an MMORPG game, as I've mentioned before. And when you start off, it's actually a free-to-play game, free-to-play MMORPG. The only thing is you'll have one character. As you can see here, I have 3 characters made on my account, and I have 2 free slots which I got by buying both the expansions called Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns. Yeah, so if you're a free-to-play player, you'll have just 1 slot and 4 lock slots until you buy more expansions or character slots later in game. But for now, you'll just have 1 character slot over here, and that you can go into character creation and build your own character. This character called Blankifer is the character I started playing almost about just less than 1 year back. I'll make a new character just to show that there's character creation, obviously, and then later proceed to tell more about the game's mechanics and what's exactly the game about later when we spawn in with our new character. So right now, I clicked on my empty slot, which you guys will have on the first slot. Don't worry, it's completely free to play, and you'll have access to 60%, 50%, 50 to 60% of the game without buying the expansion. But if you buy at least 1 expansion, you'll get access to a lot more stuff. Especially the Heart of Thorns will give you a glider, no need to explain that, and Path of Fire expansion gives you a mount. If you guys don't know what mounts are, you can basically ride animals to improve your movement speed through the map, etc. So MMORPG basically refers to a game. I won't really go through its basic mechanics because this is for a completely new player, like a total new player who has no idea about this. I would really recommend you to first read about what MMORPG is and then proceed to play this game. But I'm hoping to cover almost everything in this guide. An MMORPG is a basic, massively online multiplayer game, and RPG stands for role-playing game. In character creation, after we have 5 different races. Basically, you have the Sylvari, who are like tree humans or nymphs or elves, I guess. They somewhat resemble elves. And then you have the Asura, who are really tiny people who have a lot of intellectual abilities. And then you have Non, who are basically tall as human, and you have Char, beast looking creatures, and they're pretty cool. So for now, I'll just go with the Non. So we'll go with the male for now. Actually, I already have a male Non. Let's go with the female. And now this is probably one of the most important part of your character creation. These are the 9 professions the game has. If you're a free-to-play player, you have 8 of 9 classes. You won't have the Revenant. For unlocking the Revenant, you need to buy one of the expansions. You'll have the Warrior, Guardian, Ranger, Thief, Engineer, Necromancer, Elementalist, and a Mesmer. So now, the basic thing is that these 3 on top are heavy armor classes. So basically the game contains 3 different sets of armor categories. There's heavy armor, medium armor, and light armor. Each row represents the following. The first row is for heavy armor, and the second row is for medium armor, and the third row is for light armor. So the heavier armor classes mostly include melee type, where you have to rush in, damage, or rush in and protect, or you have to tank. You can tank with other classes or be melee with other classes, but basically in common general terms. For the starting player, I recommend you to first start off as either a necromancer, a warrior, or ranger. Basically, these three are pretty easy. Ranger is still comparatively harder to control or use. I recommend necromancer because with the necromancer, everything, you basically understand the game very clearly and you don't have to worry about the game's mechanics too much. So I recommend you to go with necromancer, and if you're planning to stay as a free to play player, I guess once you level up to 80 and do most of the stuff in the game, you can delete the character or earn enough gold to convert it into gems and then pay for an extra character slot. At that time, you could probably go and explore the rest of the professions. I would recommend warrior, necromancer, or ranger in the same order. I have gone with the necromancer, and it was pretty useful. Now, that's all you need to know for the basics. The rest all is based on how you want to play your style as. If you really want to be aggressive, you could go as warrior. Someone who likes to stay ranged, you could take a necromancer and spawn minions and death and all cool stuff. And ranger is someone who can handle both ranged as well as close combat if you want pets, etc. Well, mainly rangers are ranged, as the name suggests. There's no melee, my bad. Now if you click on next by, let's say, for here, just for the sake of it, I'm gonna take a warrior because I don't have a warrior yet. So when we press next, we go into complete character creation. So I find the character creation to be very detailed. Well, not very detailed. It gives you a decent set of creation abilities. So I'll probably skip most of the parts after explaining how everything works. So you have these three. As hover over everything, it'll show you what they do. Toggle lighting will make it dark or light, and then you can hide your armor or unhide, and then you have zooming into the face and zooming out of the face. I would like to be completely tall, please. And then physique, you can choose your own physique over here, whatever you want to go for. And then you have your tattoos, whatever you want as your body tattoos, etc. if you want any. I don't prefer, so no thank you. And then you have a ton of face styles and hairstyles, including hair color and accessory color. If you suppose go for this and you have an accessory, you can change the color of the accessory. It's pretty cool. And then you have your face details, where you can click on your eyes, choose different eye angles, choose your brows, everything. The same way you have your nose, mouth, chin and jaw. And then you have your armor dice. This is the armor you'll spawn in with. Don't worry, it won't be permanent. You are just choosing colors, and later you can change the colors if you want, and I'll explain you how to do so. So I'll just complete my character creation and jump into the game. Just a bit of information before I complete my character creation. This is where you decide your character's name, and it's pretty important because you can't change it later, and even if you want to, you have to pay a crap ton of real life money to get your name changed. So make this name something which you're completely comfortable with and serious about. Okay, so guys, after you watch that huge ass cutscene, which you are totally welcome to skip, but I really recommend you to watch it so that you know what type of personality your character has. The steps you went through after your character creation, of selecting some specific options, basically determines your character's personality. So what I mainly recommend is to look at all these small tips, I guess, boxes which come up throughout the whole game, guiding you what to do. These are, I guess, really important. At least go over them, just read them at least once. It will help you. So now, if you're completely new, obviously it depends. So now, if you're completely new, you might not know how, I guess, MMORPG games work, because I still have friends who use the arrow keys to move. So yeah, the box which just came up said that you can move with W, A, S and D. So basically that's the main movement, and normally you're going to move around like this at the start, which is okay, I mean, if you can control through it. But then here what it says is hold the right mouse button and move your mouse to control your camera. Continue to hold down the button while moving to steer your character in the direction of the camera. So what this basically says is once you hold your right mouse button down, you can look around your character. Holding your left click also does the same thing, except you don't move in that direction. You use only the left click to look around. So you use right click to move. So suppose if I'm just looking in this direction and I press W, my character will automatically go in the direction I'm looking at. Whereas I'm doing the same thing with my left click right now, my character will move forward the other way and not go in the direction you're facing. So you always use the right click pressed in to look around and move around, as movement is everything in especially this MMORPG game. It's pretty much based on movement, as you can attack even without staying in a stable place. So this is the spawning area for non. Remember when we first chose our class in this our race in the starting, we chose as non, and this is the starting area for non. Whereas if you have selected either human, char, asura or Silvari, yeah, that's it, you'll spawn in a different place for every race. So do not get worried by that. It's completely fine. If your place doesn't look anything like my place, that's all fine. Your game will still lead you, and the tips I'm about to give you, or the basic guide I'm about to give you, is going to remain the same. Now, okay, let's just close the chat for now because it might be distracting. That doesn't close it. Better. Okay, now you have I'll just explain you the HUD, or basic user interface, what you have on your screen right now. So first let's start at the top left. This is your, I guess, your main panel to access everything by the clicks if you're not using your keyboard. So I think you'll have a message saying here to unlock the full version, please buy. Ignore that. I'm not going to, I have bought the full game, so I do not have the message. So this is the game menu. So when you click on this, you'll see this is what you get when you press escape. This is basically like a menu, I guess, and then where you can go to options, you have your general options. You can go through all of these on your own, but as a beginner player, trust me, you don't need any of these. And then you have your graphic options. Obviously, to improve your graphics, you can click on auto detect, best performance, best appearance, depending on what you need. Then you have your sound options, you have your control options. Here is where you can basically select controls, but I don't recommend you changing anything at this point of time. Then you go back to game menu, and then you have you can edit your account. No need to do that. If you want to, you could, sure, go ahead. Then you have your support if you face some problem, or technical support, I guess. Then you have logout, where you go back to your screen, and then you have exit to desktop. Basic knowledge of the game. and now you have your contacts and LFG. So what LFG is a looking for group. It's a completely unique and new system, I guess, which Guild Wars 2 brought back like 8 years back, I guess. Yeah, it's almost been 8 years. Or it might have been there in Guild Wars also, but I've never played Guild Wars, so I cannot really tell. At this point of time, trust me, you don't need to worry about this also. But later, when you add friends or want to add friends in the game, you could simply click on this. It's written Friends tab, Contacts and LFG. Now I have these many friends, I guess, and 2 of my friends are online. And if you want to search your friend's name, you can search something here and it'll pop up over here. And then this is the first tab, and then this is my name. You can put it as invisible, away, or online as per your need. It will tell you the location where your friend is in your map, which I'll get to later. And this is the number of achievement points, which I'll also get to later, so you don't need to worry about anything at the moment. This is just to show you that what the tab does, that's all. And then there's the first tab, and then now if you go to the second tab, you have looking for group. This is what I was explaining about. So basically, for everything you want to do in the game, there's always a group of real players doing that activity around the map. So if you really want to do that with someone else, you could clearly go into this tab. If you want to do, suppose, let's say some mission, I'll just keep it simple for now. You could go and check these parties and check if anyone's doing the same mission as yours. Here some people are doing some missions, but we'll get to that later. And then you have the same for so many other stuff. Now you have followers. Followers are people who, I guess, are following you but haven't added you back. Something like that. Anyway, you don't need to worry about that. And blocked is obviously someone you have blocked. And let's go back. Also, you can access this panel by pressing Y on your keyboard. So that'll pop up. And you can press escape to open the game menu. Once again, just a reminder, this is a guide for absolute noobs, like who have no idea about what the game is. So if you are at a mediocre level, you can clearly skip this guide, because this, I guess, isn't for you, because I'm going to be explaining the most basic stuff. So basically you have keyboard shortcuts for all the tabs you see here. Then you have a hero tab. Basically this is where most of the stuff related to you and your character will be stored, or even the account for that matter. So now when you open it, you'll first see your hero or character. It says your name, your level, and what your profession is. I've gone with the warrior, if you remember. That's the logo of the warrior. Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tabs, and these are basically kind of necessary once you progress through the game. So if you do not want to know about this, you can clearly skip this part and then come back again if you think you're getting overwhelmed. So that's alright. And now you're in the equipment tab. This is the first column. You're in the equipment, and then there's equipment, redundant, but who gives a shit. Now when you go to equipment tab, this is where most of your gear will appear. So now you have a headgear, which will be on your head, no shit. And then you have your scale pauldrons, which are my this is what I selected in my previous choices during character selection. So sometimes you might have a headgear and not this, because you have selected that in your character creation, and that's absolutely fine. But here otherwise I have a shoulder armor, which is my pauldrons, and then I have a chainmail armor, or a chest piece, which is basically covering my torso. You have your gloves, but I have none equipped, so it doesn't show anything. And then you have your leggings or leg armor, and you have your boots. Now one thing to realize here is all of these say heavy. Now I can't scroll to that because I'm hovering over it. So if you can see over there in the box, it says heavy, which refers to heavy armor, and it'll say this. It'll say the same to all of these. And remember, you cannot equip medium or light armor on a heavy character, as in a warrior is a heavy class, so you can only equip heavier armor or heavy armor. Now that's about it. So basically, when you go on to this, you can see if you have any new armor which you can replace with, but right now we don't have anything because we just started. Now going back, we have our wardrobe. Here is where all your skins will appear. So these are basically the skins of armor you have, but not necessarily your equipment. So suppose if I click on headgear, I have none at the moment because I should be having, but I guess I don't, and then now under this, basically if you have any skins for your headgear, it'll pop up here for your heavy armor. And now shoulder, I have many. Oh, my bad. Press H again, and then it's already in the wardrobe. Now I press on this, I have a lot of skins for this apparently. So, oops, my phone's going off. So if I want to, I could change the pauldron's look by making it like that, like that, like that, or anything for that matter, depending on what you want to do. That looks pretty cool, Anyway, but this will also cost something called a transmutation charge. It's basically the price you have to pay for it if you want to. But I highly recommend you not to use this, not to use this feature until you get to level 80 at least. So there's no point of doing that, and the same likewise for every other thing. And now that's your armor, right? And this is your weapon. Sorry, I didn't explain something in your equipments. These are your one set of weapons, whereas these are your other set. I'll explain this part once we have, come to the part where we have more than one weapon. For right now, we just have a dull blade. These are your accessories, amulets, rings, and trinkets basically is what they're called, which you will gain later, which will also help in the stats. And one main thing is your attributes. Attributes are basically your stats. This will tell you how strong you are as a character. So it tells you your power, your burst recharge. Burst is something which I'll talk about later. Right now it's not very important. Actually, none of this is very important for that matter. These are your harvesting tools, which are very important if you want to make some money in the game. So we'll get to that in a bit. And these two are aquatic gear. Basically, there's underwater combat. So for underwater combat, you need to equip certain gear for obviously fighting underwater. So going back to wardrobe, you have the skins you can do for all of these. So we'll come to that later when we have skins, or when we are level 80 to be honest. And the third one is dyes. So dyes are basically what you did in character creation, where you can change the color of any piece of equipment you have over here. So suppose I want to change my pauldrons, which will be this color since I got them through character creation. I want to make them okay, we'll go with that. Pick this color up. Actually, do I mind the red? I don't. Okay, let that stay as red. Also, dyes mostly will cost you 0 transmutation charges, and that's a good thing. So you can at any time change your dyes, I guess. If you like a certain color palette, go for it and click apply, and then it'll stick. Now these dyes will not be unlocked for you yet. You'll have some starter colors, but not everything. These are unlocked later in game by buying dyes or somehow opening them. But again, you don't need to worry too much about it. And then you have your outfits, which you, if you want to, you can buy from the store, and those look absolutely cool and gorgeous. But then I guess we are all broke, huh? You have your miniatures, which are your minis, which can follow you around. They particularly, I mean, not necessarily do any damage. Some, I think they do. Other than that, they don't really do much. But for now, since I already you won't have any of these, but I have them because on my other character I have played enough to earn some. Other than that, yeah, that's it. And then now if you go back, your finishers is something you really don't need to worry about unless you're playing PvP or world versus world, etc. Other than that, your finisher doesn't really matter. It's basically a cosmetic which you really don't need. And then your mail carriers, same as cosmetic. Glider skins, once you have unlocked your bought your Heart of Thorns expansion, you'll be able to access something called a glider, and this is basically, I'll show you in a bit how it's used, but right now if you're a free-to-play account, you won't have an access to a glider. Now you have your mounts. Mounts are also accessible only if you have the expansion of Path of Fire. As a free-to-play player, you won't have these two. And novelties, I have none, so you must have none. So let's go. Let's build. Build is something which is very, very important later in game. Till level 80, you don't need to worry about guild. Only that you need to keep progressing through them, and that I'll show you in a step-by-step process, maybe in the next video or in a part video. Other than that, don't pay much focus to these at all, at least when you just start off. Now you can't access the third tab because it requires level 11, and once we get there, I'll show it to you. Story journal, this is where your story will start. This is basically what my story is, literally your story, and about your character, obviously. And right now, ours is Forging a Legend. Achievements, these you'll unlock as you play the game. It's nothing special. And masteries are something you'll unlock after you have reached level 80, so you don't need to worry about these at all. So now, you can close this tab. I have just basically explained one of those tabs. I know it's overwhelming, guys, and it's going to take a lot of time to explain literally every single mechanic of the game. But if you guys really want it, I can put my time into it and then make videos, and you guys can watch the parts which you aren't clear about. But I'll try to go through everything as detailed as possible. So now, once we're done with the hero tab, which you can access by H. If you hover over it, you can see what you can access it by. And then you have your inventory, which you can open by pressing I. At the beginning, you'll just have one bag of 20 slots, which is not too much, so you need to be careful while picking up items and then keeping items in your inventory. You won't have the shared inventory slots, I'm pretty sure, because if you're a free-to-play player, my bad, so you don't need to worry about this. And inventory is something where all your items, whatever you pick up, will go to. And as we progress through, don't worry, I'll explain everything. And now you have your mail. Mail is if you get a message by someone, a in-game player or an in-game NPC, it'll come into this. And then you have Black Lion Trading Company. This is basically where you realize you're broke as hell. So you have your 3 columns. First is the gem store. This is basically your any online game store where you pay real money to get access to cosmetic skins or better armor, etc. So right now you don't need to really worry about these. Won't really affect you unless you want to outright buy skins right away. And then you have your currency exchange. So later in game, when you get enough gold is the in-game currency, and gems are your currency which you can use in this first tab which I just showed you. Basically these you get with real money, but this game has a really good system which lets you convert your in-game currency to gems and then buy some really cool skins over here. So you really don't need to spend even real life cash to get cosmetics. You can just do it by farming a lot, no matter, I don't know, months maybe, and then get really cool looking gear from the gem store. And then you have your trading post. This is where you trade with other players all around the world, but in the game. So you have buy items, sell items, my transactions, and home. So you can buy items from the store, whatever you want, armor, weapons, or infusions, doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter for you at this moment at all. So, and you can sell your items when you realize your inventory is getting full. You can start selling your items from your inventory just to get some inventory space, and I'll show you that through progression. And at last, the last tab is your guild tab. Guild is where all your guilds are. It's Guild Wars 2, so you need to join a guild, and as a new player it's completely necessary to join a guild which is helpful, active, and not toxic, I guess, and which will help you grow, and someone might even drop you some free stuff. So you have your guild tab, and then you can, all your guild invites where someone invites you to a guild will come here. Unfortunately, you don't have a system to search for guilds and join them yourself. Someone has to invite you to join their guild. So I'll tell you in a bit how you get the invites. And then you have your roster. These all you'll unlock once you join a guild. So now we are done with the top left of the user interface. Now you have this thing which is your party. So if you're in a party with someone, their faces or character icons will appear here. So here you have, or you can invite someone. You can write the player's name and invite them to join your party. Or you can join a party by writing in player's name and joining the party. So right now you don't need to worry about that either. And then when you come to the top left corner, bottom left corner, and you see this item over here, you click on it. You can expand. By the way, everything in this game is expandable, or I don't know, movable. So it's basically according to your convenience where do you want to place your stuff. So right now I'm in some guilds called Rose, then Unicorns, DIG, and it's not really the dark side, but yeah. It's kind of ironic how I'm in Unicorns and the dark side, but okay. Anyway, so if you aren't in any of the guilds, or if you just started playing, in fact, you'll just have one tab. So suppose like this. So when you click on it, this tab will appear. When you click on the tab over there, and then you can name it whatever you want. For now, I'll just keep it as new tab. And when you click on this drop down list, you can see what all you want on that. So you can enable those stuff. Right now I'll just use this. Okay, that's my friend asking me some stuff. I'll tell you in a bit. So now once you have this tab, so actually I'll just create a new tab, can't be bothered. Hello. Guess I can't create a new tab, huh? Then I'll just edit this one. So I'll just edit this. Remove whisper, squad party team. Okay, yeah, that's cool. So now if I want, so if you want to talk on, this is basically your chat where you can chat with all other players wherever you want to. So now if you want to access your map chat, as in people in your map, then you just simply type /map and then type whatever you want, and this will send a message to the people in your map. And now if you want to say something, and say something which will only work around a certain radius around you. It's basically like proximity chat, and then say something here, and someone's just replied hello, and there's there, so it's proximity. So my phone's on fire. It is on fire. Alright, so you have your /say, which will work as a proximity chat. Basically, if you want to see all the /whatevers, you can open this up and check them. So if you really want to go into chats and all that stuff, then sure, it's here. I mean, which you should, obviously. So for now, again, let's minimize that. That's the chat part. And then top right hand corner, one sec, let me just make sure something's enabled for me. Yes, it is. Alright, so this is what your Great Hunt is. Remember when we open the H tab and then go to your story journal, it says Forging a Legend. So that's what this is, right? And then it's telling, the game's telling you, the game literally tells you what to do exactly. And this, what you see over here, is a compass. So it's pointing you in that direction. So to look in that direction, all you need to do is right click, look in that direction, and go there. Sorry if I'm completely explaining the basics, because my friends don't seem to know even that, but yeah, I mean, I get it, it can be a bit overwhelming. So we need to talk to this woman. She's been prompting us since the starting and I've been ignoring her, so hopefully the game volume isn't too loud. Otherwise I have to trash this whole video, which is not good. So you see that little icon over there, it matches this icon, so that means we have to talk to her. And it literally says that, talk to Thora Griffondane, and there she is. So the game will literally tell you what to do, and there's a level 1 quest, so yeah, there we go. We are level 1. And this is the map. Your map at the starting will be, I guess, a bit smaller or something like this. If you want, you can expand it, make it bigger, make it look cooler, and yeah, and to access the full map, all you can do is press M, and it'll open the map of your whole world, and the world is called Tyria. So we are just here out of the whole area. This is our boundary for right now, because we are in the middle of the training mission, and after that we are open to explore this whole map. And trust me, it'll take you a long ass time to explore all of this. For now, let's just stay focused over here. So this is us, the circle with the dot and the arrow mark. The arrow mark pointing to the direction we are facing at. So if I look backwards, even though I don't move backwards, this arrow will face the direction your character's face is looking at, except this white angle, I guess, is okay, that person, my bad. Okay, so that person's just doing some crazy ass shit, which I'll talk about later. Now this is where you're looking at, the white field. Now looking at the map, you can realize that if I look in different direction, even that moves. So it's just another insight for basic navigation skills. So now we can go talk to her.